Hello my darlings and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lulu and it's lovely to have you here. So today's video is going to be a full face of Makeup Revolution. Some of this stuff I've tried before and some of it is going to be new to me. So Makeup Revolution for me is a very good brand. Whilst I talk, I'm just going to put the first thing on, which is the Hydrate Primer, which I have tried before and I do like. So some of this stuff I think I have a pretty good opinion already on, and some of it, as I said, I've never tried. It will be kind of like a first impressions. But as for this primer, it's very hydrating. It's a little bit tacky to the skin, so if you don't like that, you should be aware. But for me, I quite like that because I feel like it makes my foundation really stick to my skin. And talking of foundation, the foundation I'm going to use is the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. This is in F0.5 and I'm just gonna draw it on my face like so. This foundation's quite full coverage. In fact, when I say quite, I mean very full coverage. It definitely has the coverage there and is very buildable. However, it is slightly too pink, that colour. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this in, which is the concealer in 01, in shade 1, sorry. This is actually one of my favourite ways to use this product. I know it may not be the classic way, but I do really like it like this. Okay, so I'm just going to take my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe complexion brush and work that into my skin just a little bit, and then take my beauty sponge, just pounce over it. I've applied this foundation with both sponges and brushes and I like it both ways. I do really quite like mixing them. However, when it comes to my chin, I find it quite awkward, because although it starts the day very dry, by the end of the day it's very oily, and I've just learnt that I have to use a sponge on it and then take a blotting powder with me throughout the day. This foundation is definitely slightly easier to blend with a brush, but overall it's still fine to use a sponge. The only thing I would say is it does set down, so make sure you do work fairly quickly and don't leave it to sit on your face, because then you will find it very hard to blend. I'm just going to add a little bit more, just onto the very centre of my face. Okay, so that's the foundation all blended into my skin. I really like this foundation. I think it looks very nice. It's definitely very full coverage. I'm just going to blend it down my neck a little bit more. But overall, I do really like it. I personally wouldn't recommend it with people with dry skin, simply because it does get quite matte, so it could look quite heavy on your skin, and I know that where I get little dry patches on my skin, it can sometimes emphasise those. But I do think if you're looking for a very full coverage, kind of well-rounded foundation, and you have more combo to oily skin, then this is a really good one to pick up. Now for concealer. I actually did a video on this concealer comparing it to Tarte Shape Tape, so if you haven't seen that video, please do check it out. Spoiler alert, I do like this concealer. I'm just mixing shade 0.5 and 1 again under my eyes. I don't think this concealer is as full coverage as people like to claim, however I do think it is a good concealer. So I would recommend it to you if you don't have as severe dark circles as me. However, for me, if I'm doing full glam, it's just not full coverage enough. However, on an everyday basis, I do really like this. I'm also going to put this over my eyes quickly just to cancel out any veininess. But I mean, overall, I don't know how well you can see on camera. In real life, you can still see darkness coming through under my eyes. I think the beauty lights diffuse that slightly. But It is a good concealer and I definitely would recommend it, but I wouldn't say it was as full coverage as people claim. Okay, so the next product is actually new to me, and this is a little kit that they do, which is a bronzer, a blush and a highlight. So I'm going to take my brush and dip into the bronzer. My face is pretty set. I don't actually have a powder from Makeup Revolution, as the store I went into didn't sell a powder by them, so because I've not set my cheeks, I am just being careful and dabbing this bronzer on. It looks quite nice though, the shade's nice. It's not too warm toned or orange looking. It's pretty. Just blending it back into my hairline. Once I've done one side, I'll show you the difference. Okay, so now I've done one side, you can see the difference. It's definitely pretty, it's definitely nice, but it is slightly tricky to blend and does look a little bit patchy in certain areas, but that may be because I haven't set my face. If you give me 1 second. I've just grabbed my Maybelline Fit Me powder and a big brush, and I'm just going to tap that over my cheek and forehead. I know it's not Makeup Revolution, but I just want to see if the kind of patchiness is down to me not wearing powder or whether it is the bronzer itself that is patchy. Sorry about the lighting in this video. The sun keeps kind of coming in and out and making it a little bit off. I've done my best, but I'm afraid there's not much I can do to fix it. So back in with bronzer. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely not as patchy now I've set my skin. So I'd say that was probably the foundation was still just a little bit too tacky. So is it just me that's looking forward to the Six Nations this weekend? England versus Wales will be one hell of a match, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Leave in the comments who you support if you're supporting anybody, and I would love to hear who you think is going to win. Okay, so bronzer on. I quite like that actually. The colour and the tone is very nice. It's not too warm, it's not too orange. So it doesn't give me like a sickly fake look. No, I quite like that. So next is blush, and I'm going to take that pinky colour that was in the palette and tap it off. It's not very pigmented. Try again. It's quite nice. It looks quite similar to NARS's Orgasm. Not quite as pink, at least on my skin. The reflect of the kind of almost orangey the shimmer is coming off quite a bit on my cheeks personally. But I mean, I don't dislike it. I'm not sure it's my favourite. Yeah, I'm not sure it's my favourite colour, especially on me, but it's not horrible. I can wear it without a problem. It's just not something I'd reach for. Okay, so before I do highlighter, I'm actually gonna skip around a bit and go over to my eyes. Now, to do my eyes, I'm gonna be using the Makeup Revolution X Soph palette, and I actually have been using this palette for a little bit now, kind of testing it out and seeing what I think, so I could give you a proper kind of opinion. And I'm just going to take the white in the palette and set the concealer on my eyelids. I'm just tapping it out again before I set it. So I quite like this palette. I think that the shadows blend nicely. Don't get me wrong, they are not the easiest shadows in the world to blend, but for the price I think it's a very good palette. You guys can see the shades there. I think it's a very kind of uniform, well-rounded palette, and it just is quite easy to make a look out of. I don't feel like I sit and look at the palette and have no idea what to do. So I'm not going to do anything too complicated. I'm just going to go into the second of the medium brown shades. I'm just going to run this through my crease. Is that a bit better? Sorry, I didn't realise the light had changed again. I really like the tone of this colour. It's not too warm, but it still has enough warmth that it doesn't look kind of grey. I might play with the pinker colours down at the bottom today. I'm just going to add a little bit of peachy tone into my crease. Now I've just mixed together on the far side of the palette, the third colour down on the last row, if you're looking down at the palette, with the colour above it, and on the next row in, the second colour down as well. And actually I want to bring that into my inner corner a bit. Again, I'm going back into that colour. Once again, I'm mixing it with the brown tone on the next row over. I'll just come in a bit so I don't know if you guys can see, but it's actually gone a little bit patchy just on the outer corner, which I haven't used this particular shade before, so it may just be this shade because I haven't had that problem before. But just so you guys can see, in fact I'll stay this close up so you guys can see the rest of the look a bit better. So I've just taken the kind of pink tone on the outer and inner corner. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into the first colour we used, which is on the top row, second row to the end, and I am going to mix that with the second colour on the last row again, and just blend the top here a bit more. I'd say they blend nicely, however they do blend into each other a bit, which is a little bit of a problem. I'm going to take a really small detailer brush and the shimmery kind of champagne colour. This is applied dry, and then I'll see if I need to wet it. Okay, so that's one eye done. I am just going to go off camera and quickly do the other one. And my brows, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so brows done and eyes are nearly done. So I'm just going to do my lower lash line. And I'm going to take the colour I put in my crease first. I'm just going to work that under my eye. And then I'm going to take the lighter of the two kind of salmony pink colours we used. I've just blended that under each eye. I'm going to take a little flat definer brush, and with like a mixture of the more pink colour and one of the dark browns in the palette, I'm just going to run that on my outer corner and blend that in. Okay, now I'm going to put the same champagne kind of colour on my inner corner. This time I've wet the brush slightly, so just to make it a little bit more vibrant. Now for mascara. This is another product of theirs I've never used before, and that is the Mascara Revolution. Okay, that's all it says on here. It's quite a big fluffy brush, so this should be interesting. Because I normally, excluding Lancome Monsieur Big, I normally prefer a kind of plasticky wand. I find that these brushes can add a bit too much on. Well, it's definitely made them very separated. So that is one coat of mascara on this eye. It's okay. They're very separated and defined, but they're not very kind of full looking. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the other eye. I'm finding I'm quite struggling to uncover all my lashes, because it's like coating one and then the mascara is just sticking to it and not coating any of the other lashes. Yeah, and also I've just marked my cheek. But no, I feel like it looks quite spidery looking. Normally I'd put that mascara on my lower lashes as well, but I have a feeling it will just smudge all over my face. I'm just going to take a spoolie and just flick it off to start, and then just kind of pat it in, and I'm just going to go over it with my beauty blender, well, Real Technique sponge. Okay, so next for highlighter, I'm going to take my Real Techniques brush and go back into the little palette we had and just see. I mean, that's quite pretty. It's not brilliant. I don't like the way it kind of mixes here on my cheek where it's mixed with the blush. It looks a little bit patchy. But the colour itself is quite nice. I mean, I think you'd have to be quite fair to wear this. Even medium skin tones may struggle. It's got quite an icy tone to it, which it doesn't look like it would have this much of an icy tone to it in the palette. I'm actually just going to take the eyeshadow we use, the kind of champagne colour, and just mix that in with it, just to get rid of some of the iciness. It's pretty. It's definitely shiny. It's definitely like giving me some glow. I'm just not sure if I quite like the tone. Because when I look straight on, it looks slightly like a stripe on my cheek. So yeah, I'm not sure the tone quite does it for me, but it's not bad. Now I'm quickly just going to shove a gloss on because the shop I went into didn't have any lip products left. They were all like mangled and used and tested, so I didn't want to risk trying something that somebody else had already used. So I just put a bit of the Colour Riche lipstick from L'Oreal on my lips. And then on top of that I am putting the Clinique Fizz Pop glosses in. And that is my full makeup look. Oh no, I forgot something. So finally is setting spray. So this is the Revolution Amazing Makeup Fixing Spray Pro Fix. So I'm just gonna, it's quite a nice mister, so I just put a fair amount of that on. It smells a bit weird, but I mean it looks nice on my skin. There's no like splotches or anything. So that is the makeup done, and overall I really quite like Makeup Revolution. I think it, for the money, is a very good brand and definitely has some real gems in that could easily compete with high-end counterparts. Don't get me wrong, I think there's some products that need some improvement, but overall, I don't know, I definitely go out like this. I definitely don't feel like I need to take all my makeup off and redo it. So for me that's always kind of a real test for a brand, and I really quite like this look. I maybe would use a different blush next time, but the bronze is nice, and although the highlight is a little icy, on my skin tone it looks okay. And I think their foundation is an absolutely amazing product that I really do recommend, with a really good shade range. So overall, I definitely think you should check out Makeup Revolution. It was lovely chatting to you guys. If you liked this video, please do hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. It really does mean a lot. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday when I have internet. I'm sorry for the late upload yesterday. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!